217 Recovery Podcast. How are you? Seriously, how are you? You doing good? Yeah. First time listening, appreciate it. If a friend told you, hey, you got to check out this podcast, it's about recovery. They talk about addiction and their lives, their story, they're going through it, putting it out there. Well, that's cool. I'm glad your friend told you that, or whoever did. I'm glad that you're listening. Maybe you just stumbled upon us. Maybe you just searched on iHeartRadio or Spotify, or maybe you just Googled Recovery Podcast and we popped up. Again, thanks for listening. My name is Corey Winfield. Usually I do the podcast with my co-host, Ryan Beckman. Flying solo at the moment doesn't mean he might not just show up. But I want to tell you about an event that's coming up in Traverse City. Again, if this is your first time listening, this will be your first time hearing about it. It is the 22nd of August in Traverse City, Michigan. And it is going to be amazing. There's going to be two different speakers. It's going to be like almost like a workshop. It's not just going to be like you show up and we just watch some speakers and we go home. No, it's a workshop. It's going to be very active. And on Tuesday, I'm going to go talk to Kate from ATS, Addiction Treatment Services. And they're ones putting it on in Traverse City. It's at Park Place. If you need more details, go to the website, 217recovery.com. They're there for you. They also added some events, too. There's the Harm Reduction Michigan event, which is coming up as well on the 29th. That's also in Traverse City, the campus there of North Central Michigan. And they're going to show a movie, and I'm assuming it has to do with harm reduction and what they do. What they do, a lot of people think what they do, they're like, oh, how can you give people clean needles? And how can you help people out with this and that? Well, if you look... If you want to Google it, feel free. I mean, if you're like me, you probably are just like, yeah, that makes sense. But if you don't believe me, Google how much it costs. Like, say someone's using a dirty needle, they get Hep C. Well, now they have to get treated. You know, they're on Medicaid. The state pays for that. You know, that's a lot of money that's going to, you know, just get this person off of, you know, Hep C. And that's just one of the many things that can happen. I mean, there's tons. People could die. People overdose and they go to the hospital. If they can test, you know, the stuff that they're using, a lot of people say, oh, they want that stuff. They want the fentanyl in there. I don't know. Maybe some do, maybe some don't. But there's an option for people, you know, to do things a little cleaner, a little safer. And you think, well, heroin, that's just such a bad, dirty drug. Well... So are pills, man. You know, like, anyway, I'm not going to get into all that with you tonight. But, yeah, that event is coming up on the 29th. If you want to know more about it, I'm hoping to be there as well. But it's under events right next to Rethinking Addiction as well. So there you go. There's that. Now, tonight, I kind of want to touch on something that I posted yesterday on Facebook. And I shared it a few different places. Maybe you saw it on Twitter, maybe Instagram. I don't know. But it was exactly how I was feeling last night. I know Matt, he does his blog. Where you can check in with Matt. Tries to do it once a week, it seems. But no, Matt, he does it whenever he feels like it. But there's also Anna's blog. And I thought, you know, the way I'm feeling right now is very uncomfortable. And I was feeling very frustrated. Most addicts, we like the things to go how we want them to go. And we want things when we want them. And I want things to start happening now. Even though I have A going, but I don't have B, C, and D. But I want it to go to D already. And I just want to skip B and C and go to D. Well, in order to get to B or to C, you know, I need to get A completed. But I don't know. It's frustrating. You know, I have so many ideas and so many great things planned for 217 Recovery. Not just a podcast, not just a website with great resources, not just something that people listen to. I want to go out. I want to speak. I want to get everybody involved, like we learned at the training last week for the Recovery Ambassador training. You know, like, we're ambassadors. You're an ambassador. I'm an ambassador. Matt's an ambassador. Ryan's an ambassador. You know, people that I saw at Bear River, they're future ambassadors. You know, we got to get everybody on board, and we got to go do this thing. But without that, it's just going to be nearly impossible. But What I was getting to, though, was the thing that I posted had to do with how I felt, and I wanted to share that. And frustration is being a huge trigger for me. Some people say triggers don't even exist, but for me, I know what can get me off going to left field, going to very bad places. Well, now, since I have been in recovery and learned the process of my feelings, learned to feel how, like to just take a minute to go, okay, why am I feeling this way? And like just to have a moment with myself, whether it be driving in a car to and from work, whether it be just sitting on my bed looking out the window, like, why am I feeling like this? I don't like it. What is it? It's like, okay, well, that's frustration. Why? Well, because I'm not getting what I want. I want this now. Well, that has to do with control. You want control of the situation that you have none over. There's things that I can do to better the outcome, but as far as like absolute control, no, I don't have that. And I have to just sit back and I have to realize that the only way that this frustration is going to leave is if I give it to God. I give this frustration to God. I let God know, hey, I trust you. You got me this far. Things are going so great. And I'll just sit back and enjoy the ride. That's all I can do. When I was trying to force things, trying to do things my way, it just wasn't working. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a religious person. I'll poke holes on a lot of things. If you're really religious, you probably don't want to talk religion with me. But I do believe in a higher power. I believe in God. And whether you read the Bible and you believe in God, that's fine. If you believe in Jesus, I believe in Jesus too. Just kind of maybe a different version of what maybe you might, but that's okay, man. That's the beauty of it. I think as long as you believe in God and you're right with God, you're going to get where you need to go. That's just my belief. But again, not going to be talking about that right now. I'm not trying to debate people about this. I'm just sharing what I was sharing last night and just trying to explain it a little bit. There was one person I know was pretty confused by it all, but I think most people understood what I was trying to say and what I was doing. I was saying, here's how I was feeling. I took the time to go through it and figure it out, and here's how I can get through that. The only way I can get rid of this frustration is to do this. Give it to God, believe and trust in God that He's got me, and that's the only way. And that way I can just accept it, that this is the way it's going to be. And that's the only way I could rid myself of the frustration. And it works. It really does. A lot of people do gratitude lists, and I do that too. That really works too. If you're just feeling angry and just not satisfied with life, just stop for a minute. And it's okay to take a minute for yourself. And you don't always have to be in the car driving either. You can be at work and just say, hey, you know what? Excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom for a minute. And just sit there. Just collect yourself. That's better than the alternative. That's better than bottling it up all day at work or around a coworker or whatever. Just take a minute. I just need a minute, man. Just take a minute. Just collect yourself and just start processing how you're feeling. Because the more you do that, at least for me, I found it really helps. And I started learning that in Bear River when I was in there. And one of the guys, Will was his name. He's one of the instructors where he was talking about the feelings and, to go through them like that and just to process them. You have to. If you're in active addiction or know someone who is, and they're like me, we didn't process our feelings. The way we processed our feelings was going to the store, finding our own medicine because we were just trying to self-medicate and get away from that feeling because we didn't want to feel that way. I didn't want to feel worried if my electric was getting shut off. I didn't want to feel worried that my girlfriend hated me, or I didn't want to feel anything. And I thought, hey, how I can run away from the electric getting shut off next Tuesday is, well, I can go to the store, I can get a bunch of liquor, and I can play video games all weekend. Might as well enjoy the electric while I got it, right? That was a thought process there. Not a very good thought process. So what could I have done? I don't know, a billion things. I could have called a family member. I could have looked for work. Hey, do you guys need me to do something? Hey, you want me to make a website? But I was full of excuses too, and I can justify anything. Well, I could make this a friend of mine, a website, he'd gladly probably give me $100, which keep my electric on, and it'd be awesome. But I don't know which one to use. I don't know. Like, I'd always justify it to where I couldn't do it. And when I started 217, the guys that were pushing me and going, I was, sad that you didn't start it already. Like, what's going on? You thought this was the plan. And then it kind of just lit a fire underneath me. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Let's do it. I'm going to have to step into the fire. If people hate it, they hate it. There's nothing I can do about that, which we talked about today at an AA meeting. And I kind of explained to Matt on the way home, like, when people say and use terms like alcoholic or drunk or junkie, those are negative terms. And we have to stop using those. If you want to use them in an NA meeting or AA meeting, that's fine. But if you're out in the public around other people who don't understand what those words mean, it's very dangerous. If you go up to somebody on the street who is an active addiction, but not admitting to, being an addict of something or addicted to something, then it's dangerous when you say, hey, yeah, my name's Corey. Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. Oh, they think, he's going to go home and get drunk. He's an alcoholic. Where he could have been sober for 10 years. All they heard was alcoholic, and they just associate that with he's going to go home and drink. He's drunk, probably drunk right now. Just an alcoholic. I knew a friend of mine, his brother was an alcoholic real bad. Oh, man, he's always beating his wife, and, it was real bad, and, geez, alcoholics, they beat their wives and, man, kill people and drunk driving and stuff, and, those alcoholics are bad. That's the point of not using those kind of terms, is because that's where it can go with people who don't really understand. And I was telling Matt that, and he agreed with me. At first, he was just like, hey, you want to sugarcoat it? Because I gave him a really bad analogy of like, hey, if you're going to go adopt a stray from the animal shelter, you can. Hey, if you want to go adopt a rescue animal, you want to go get a rescue dog? It just sounds better. And he was like, yeah, that's kind of sugarcoating it. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I'm just saying it sounds better. So when I say I don't care what people think about me, I kind of don't. But at the same time, I do care. Don't get me wrong. I care what they think about all of us. I don't want people judging us and thinking we're bad people because we handled something the wrong way in a horrible fashion. We get it. We know it's bad. What have we done with our lives? Nothing really good can come if you keep on with active addiction. I call him a friend of mine. He got out of here not too long ago, relapsed pretty bad. I don't know what he was thinking. Only he knows. It's like a cry for help almost. I guess he called the police on himself. And they came and arrested him, drunk, disorderly, took him to jail. He was in there for like a week. I don't know how fun the jail is here, but I really don't want to find out. But that just doesn't seem like a great idea. Like there's so many other things that could be going on right now, and that's the path he chose. And does he probably regret it? Yeah. I mean, can he drink what he wants? Yeah. It doesn't end well. I mean, he knows that. That's the part of the process, though. I mean, I went through that. I relapsed so many times, and it doesn't make it okay. I wish I didn't. Every time it hurt worse. Having to look my mom in the eye, my stepdad in the eye, my sister in the eye. Like I said before, when my sister drove me to the hospital one time and my nephews were in the back seat, that I will never get out of my head. It's not a proud moment for me. Not at all. But it is something that had to happen. I wish it would have been the end of it all. But again, I had to keep going back. I wish it was easier. I hope it's easier for you. But it's probably not going to be. This isn't a road for the weak. That is absolute fact. And just because something goes bad or something does go wrong and you might go back to using, it doesn't mean you're weak either. I'm just saying you have to dust yourself off and you have to get back up and you have to keep going. There are people that love you, and you probably know that, and that's what makes it so hard. But you can't do it for anybody else. You have to do it for yourself. My nephews, I want them to know me. I really do. And